Are you planning or considering starting a business? Well, this is where we start. Starting a business can be very exciting journey of our lives. It can be thrilling, but at the same time it can be very intimidating, especially when you're just starting. So today we are going to be looking at 10 essential things that you need to consider to set you up for success when you're starting your business. It will help you to start strong, also help you to avoid some common pitfalls that most, especially small businesses, encounter that make them not even see their that bad day. And most of all, you're gonna be so proud of the business that you're going to set up because it's gonna thrive not just now, but also into the future. So let's dive in. So the first thing that you need to think about is first, what business are you in? And for small businesses, you can even play around with asking yourself, what product are you bringing into the market? Products, remember, stand for goods or services. So what product are you bringing into the business? Remember, every business that you do is coming to serve a certain need in the society. It's coming to fulfill a certain requirement, something that people need so that they can buy and they can fulfill a need. So that is very key, because if you do not know what is that business you're in, it can be very confusing, and many a times we get lost in this space. Say for example, you want to start a cleaning business. So you say, I'm in the business of cleaning supplies. Now, when you say just cleaning supplies, what exactly are you in? Cleaning supplies are huge and they are many and they cover a lot of things. But if you're going to say, I am coming into the business of the cleaning, supply of cleaning materials, but specifically organic or maybe child-friendly kind of in supplies, then you know you're in business, because then you can be able to even be able to tell people exactly what you're doing. So it is very, very, very important to have that concept very clear. What exactly are you going to do in the business space? What product are you bringing out into the market? So that's the first thing. It is your product. Very key to understand, and this will help you to now be able to look at all the others in a way that is going to make sense. The second thing that you need to know is, who is going to be your customer? For every product, for every business that you get into, there is someone who has to be willing to buy, and you have to be able to identify who is that customer. So you're in a community with all manner of people, men, women, old people, young people, all manner of people. This product that you have brought, who is it meant for? Who is willing to buy it? Let's say it's that cleaning product that we've just talked about in the previous point. Now, if you're setting a business to sell cleaning products, then you're going to be asking yourself, who is going to buy? Let's assume in your mind, whatever product you're bringing in, you're targeting mothers. So maybe in their mind, the reason why they would want to buy your product could be it's because it is child friendly. It is one that doesn't have maybe strong sense that can affect a baby, because mothers think very strongly about their babies. And so your cleaning product cannot be exactly the same way that you'd have done one for the office. So it's very important to understand who is your customer and understand what are their habits. Why would they want to buy your product? Because then that will be very key in terms of what you're going to look out for. The third point that you're going to be looking at is, what is your value proposition? And this is, in simple terms, we say, is what is that thing that sets you apart, that makes you so differentiated from the other people who are doing the same thing in the market? One thing is to always remember, you may not be the only one who is doing this business. Probably even before you got in, others are doing the same business. Many other people are still doing cleaning products, but for your product, what will set you apart? That's what you need to be looking at. So probably everybody has been selling cleaning products, and yours, because you're targeting mothers, it is also going to be child friendly. That's a unique thing about your product. So always think about your customer and what would make them want to choose you, because then that is what is the value that you're bringing into the market. All right, the next point is researching your market, understanding the landscape which you're going to be operating in. Many a times we start business because we find other people are doing the same thing, or in this community there are many people who do this thing, there are many restaurants, there are many M-Pesa shops, and so you also want to do the same. Well, it is important now, like you're here in the lessons, it's important for you to know that it is critical that you do some bit of research. Just do some observation, do some asking around. What are people looking for? What is it that people want? So that you start your business from a point of knowledge. That way you don't just go in and just get yourself, to just start, say for example, a restaurant, because everybody is starting a restaurant or everybody is running a restaurant, and you feel this is research will be able to tell you what are people looking for. Even as you find around it, instead of even copying everyone else, or even if you're copying, is to find out what is it that is not being provided. And that's what sets you apart. You remember we just talked about the value proposition, so that will set you apart. So do your research to understand what is it that people are looking for, what pains do they have, what things are they looking for to make their life easier and better. Then if you find something that they're looking for, the next thing as you're doing your research is to find out, are they willing to buy? For example, one time I was dealing with a client who wanted to start a restaurant in the village, and I asked them, I know restaurants are very good, people get hungry and all that, but where are you going to set up your business? Because it's there in the village. Are people really going to buy or dine in that kind of restaurant you're looking at? Why? Because most of the times you realize the habits of the people in the up country, they are more inclined to prepare their own food and eat it from home. So you're likely to struggle because people are not likely to come to the restaurant. But remember, your research will help you. I'm not saying a restaurant cannot do in the village. Restaurants have done well, but just do your research, do some observation, ask people around and find out what people are likely to want that can be able to make you stand out and much more to be a success. Next point is the money matters. Now, money matters, there's a lot. First and foremost, when you're starting any business, it is going to require some items. You're going to put in some expenses so that you can purchase the product, set up the business. There's a lot of money requirement that is needed around. So at least the bare minimum, we say it is important to be able to do some simple budgets. So when someone talks about budgets, people think big things and all that, but all you're going to do is just, because when you're starting a business, at the top of your mind, maybe you're telling yourself, I have 100,000 with me as capital. What do I need? Now, it is important to be able to ask yourself, for me to start, what are these key things that I need to start with? Remember, most businesses, when you're starting, they will require a lot of things to be done at once. Some of them, maybe you may need to buy them now, but they will last for a longer time. Say for example, if you're starting a restaurant, you need to buy the tables, the chairs, you need to pay rent, you need to buy the food materials, you need to buy the kitchen items. There is a lot to buy. So all of that you need to plan and know, with this money that I have, what much can I do with it, so that you can pick the things that are going to help you start well. At times, I know you when you're starting, especially small businesses, you may not have so much money to do big things, even if you have big dreams. But at least even the scale that you want to start with, you need to plan. You need to plan for that money. And planning for that money is asking yourself, what do I need to do? So with what you have, budget, so that you can know how you're going to spend that money, and so spend it wisely. Then, while on money matters again, it is also important to know that cash is king. And that's the next point to look at. Cash is king. Cash is king because when you start business, operations will happen because there's money flowing. Many a times, yes, we start with money, we start business with some certain money, but we've not thought about how money is going to flow. And therefore, it is important to start planning. Like, for example, yes, I've started, but how much do I need to sell to be able to start bringing in some business, some money that will be able to flow? Because yes, you bought the items, you sell, immediately you go and buy things again. It's a cyclical. In fact, you call it the cash flow cycle. You buy, you sell, you get some money, you go and buy again. And the only way now you start making profit, it's when that cash that you used to buy, you're able to sell in such a way that by the time you're going to buy again, there's some money that you're leaving behind. So you need to make that plan also, because business is not just about buying raw materials. It's not about just replacing the product. There is so much more. You need to pay rent, you need to pay staff, you need to do so much more. You need to do cleaning. Small things here and there still keep coming up and now and then. And so you need to be able to see whether the monies that you're making are leaving some little enough money to be able to run the business without struggling, because this is the cash flow that is going to help you manage the business, even to the extent of being able to make a profit. So point number 8 is you also need to develop a marketing strategy. That is getting the word out. People need to know that you're starting in your business or you're starting this new business, because it's one thing to open the business, but the next thing is to people know that you exist. Now, I know for small businesses, at times you could be in a place where you kind of like your advantage because there's already an existing clientele or existing customers who visit the space. Say, for example, like here in the city, I've seen some places where there's a lot of people who are selling clothes, and so if you get into such a space, you might benefit from the existing clientele that come to visit the other shops in that space. However, even when you still find that you can benefit from such, it's always important for people to get to know you. Today, we've got the advantage of social media where you can let people know what you're doing, and that makes it so much easier because people can find you on social media handles and they can be able to know what product you have. Now, the 9th thing that you need to be looking at is competition. Every business you start, however unique it is, there will be someone else who, if no one has ever done it, someone else will do it. And even when you're starting, at times actually one of the things that I learned from one of my mentors is just do what is already being done, especially when you're starting, because it's going to save you a lot of headache. It's going to save you a lot of handles. You're going to understand the market that is already there. So even when you're doing your research, you can have a lot of information concerning the business. And so even though then it is important to know who else is doing what you're doing. That is what you're calling competition. So there are some who are going to be direct competitors. They're doing exactly what you want to do. There are those who are going to be indirect, that they're not really directly competing with you, but they're offering products which are not directly competing with you, but they compete with you. You know, like the way we say normally soda and water, it's not soda, but water also competes with soda, because water, you know, soda takes care of dust, water takes care of that. So that happens. So even some complementary is those which go together. We're going to be doing a little bit of more classes on competition, so keep it here. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of these lessons. So it is important to understand what competition is there, because you need to know how much of that competition exists. That competition vis-a-vis the customer's ability to buy the things that you're bringing in. So if you're getting into a place that is highly crowded by the same thing that you want to do, it's one asking yourself, if I get into this space, do I also have a share in it, or should I be thinking of maybe going into a different place or doing a different business altogether, or do I need to tweak it so that it looks unique in its own way, that it's not exactly competing with whatever is existing? Lastly, and this is very key, is build a simple business plan. I know when you say this, especially in a class setup, many entrepreneurs find it very tiring and maybe time consuming, and I can understand where you're coming from. The one thing, even as I bring these lessons in this the SME classroom, is that I appreciate so much that business people have like a 7th sense in them, something that makes them know that when they go into this business is gonna succeed. That is not theory work anywhere, and so that is very well appreciated, and I highly honor that. But even when you're doing this, you find that at times just putting down some little things here in a simple way, and I'm going to be showing you can do a business plan, very simple for every business, even a micro business, so that you can be able to get it to guide you, to help you know what really are you getting into, what things do you need to consider, because these are things that will really help you and set you for success. Remember, we said these are the 10 things that will help set you for success, so that in the future you can be proud of yourself that you actually started on a right footing. So those are the 10 points. And here is one extra point in terms of what you need to think about, or rather to consider, is start small. I know our ideas are huge, and we have, we see things far and we want to grow and become big and all that. But at times the mistake we make is starting so big. You want to do a big shop, a big setup with, top-notch furniture. I'm not saying that is wrong. If you have the ability, it's okay. Please remember, go back to market research. It will really help you a lot to be able to know even how you start. But for small businesses, I normally say this: just start small. And this is something I was also taught by my mentor. Start small, think big. That is very key. So you're thinking big, but you can start small so that you can also be able to test the market, know what are they looking for, are they really going to buy your product. So when you've already started and you start seeing there is some demand, then you can start growing and making the business grow. Rome was never built in one day. So if you have that concept in mind, you'll be okay to just start small and build your business over time. Make sure to subscribe so that you can find the next video that I'm going to be bringing in, which now talks not about these technical things, but the non-technical things that also set you up for success. And also in the comments, let me know what else you'd want me to talk about. Thank you so much. See you in the next.